You ever pull up next to a dad in a BG SUV and think, meh, he's just probably listening to Coldplay? Well, surprise, that BG SUV might have a Le Mans race engine under the hood. Today we're talking about cars that look like boring daily drivers, but underneath, they're hiding some of the wildest, most legendary engines ever built. These aren't sports cars, these are wolves in running shoes, so let's go. It's 2008. Audi is flexing their Le Mans diesel domination and says, let's build a 7-seater luxury SUV with more torque than a freight train. It had a 6-liter V12 twin-turbo diesel, 493 horsepower and 1000 Nm of torque, 0 to 100 in just 5.5 seconds, and the engine derived from an Audi R10 TDI. It was torque limited, so it wouldn't snap the transmission in half. The Q7 V12 TDI was overbuilt, overpowered, and over the top. This SUV had ceramic brakes, a beefed-up drivetrain, a 100-liter fuel tank, and a 6-speed Tiptronic transmission, upgraded to handle a mountain of torque. Its engine block was cast from compacted graphite iron, a rare mineral used for high-performance diesels, and despite the 2.6-ton carb weight, it could out-accelerate a Porsche Cayenne of its day. It was a hollow vehicle, built to show off Audi's engineering muscle. The only thing more outrageous than its specs was its price tag, around 135,000 euros. You could buy 2 base Q7s or one V12 that spoke sports cars.
Welcome to the E55.
You're thinking accountant car. Wrong. This one drinks super unleaded and breathes through a supercharger. 5.4-liter supercharged V8 M11 3K engine. 469 horsepower, 700 Nm of torque, and 0 to 100 in just 4.5 seconds. It's the only luxury car where the glove box contains both opera tickets and a radar detector. The E55 AMG combined German precision with old-school brute force. The M11 3K was hand-assembled by a single AMG technician, featured forged internals, and used an E10 supercharger with intercooling. It was a beast, capable of hitting 320 kilometers with basic mods. Despite its supercar acceleration, it remained a full-size executive sedan with adjustable air suspension, heated seats, and a full command navigation. It's also famous for being incredibly tunable, with some owners reaching over 800 horsepower on stock internals. It's basically the world's angriest couch. It looks like your neighbor's early 2000s BMW SUV, but under the hood, it's packing a V12 straight from a Le Mans race car.
Ja.
Meet the one of BMW's X5 Le Mans. It had a 6.1-liter V12 S70/3 from the BMW V12 LMR, 700 plus horsepower, over 700 Nm of torque, and 0 to 100 in just 4.5 seconds, rear-wheel drive only, manual transmission. This wasn't just a PR stunt. BMW actually stuffed their Le Mans winning engine, the same one that helped the V12 LMR win the 1999 12 Hours of Le Mans, into an X5. The engine was lightly detuned, but still made over 700 horsepower. It had no all-wheel drive, only rear-wheel drive, no automatic. It came with a 6-speed manual, and they removed the rear seats to make room for cooling ducts and electronics. The result? A 2-ton SUV that hits 310 km/h on the Nürburgring straight. Hans-Joachim Stuck, a racing legend, even left the Nürburgring Nordschleife in it, just to prove how absurdly capable it was. BMW never put it into production, but it became a symbol of engineering bravado, and remains one of the wildest factory-baked projects of all time. Here we go, Japan. The quietest V12 in the world lives in a car built for Japanese royalty. It had a 5-liter 1GZ FE V12 engine, 276 horsepower, a gentleman agreement, rear-wheel drive, and ultra-silent. You can't hear it, you can't feel it, but it's there, and tuners have pushed it to over 1000 horsepower. The Century was Toyota's flagship since 1967. The G50 was the first and only Japanese car to feature a V12, specifically developed to be a whisper quiet and last forever. It came with a double-pane acoustic glass, wool upholstery, more premium than leather in Japan, and a ride so smooth it felt like a teleportation. The 1GZ FE engine has two ECUs, one for each bank, and redundant ignition systems. Tuners in Japan have twin turbocharged it to 1,500 horsepower and is become a cult engine for high-end drift builds. It's not just luxurious, it's legendary. Looks like a Malibu, drives like a Corvette. It had a 6.2-liter LS3 V8, 415 horsepower, rear-wheel drive offered in manual or auto. This is what happens when Australia makes your work car. Imported from Australia and sold in the US from 2014 to 2017, the Chevy SS was a rebadged Holden Commodore VF. It had the heart of a muscle car, but the looks of a fleet sedan. It became standard with launch control, heads-up display, magnetic ride control, and a mechanical LSD. Buyers could choose a 6-speed manual, a rarity in full-size sedans, and unlike most modern cars, it had no front badge. That's right, Chevy literally sold it blank, because if you know, you know. Turbocharged, all-wheel drive, 5 cylinders of Swedish Fury. It had a 2.5 turbo inline-5, 300 horsepower, all-wheel drive, Brembo brakes, and a 6-speed manual. You can fit 3 kids, a sofa, and still outrun a WRX in the snow. Released from 2004 to 2007, the V70R was Volvo's performance flagship. It featured 4C active suspension co-developed with Holden, a Haldex-based all-wheel drive system, and large Brembo brakes. It had sport seats, blue dials, and even a manual gearbox option. It came in iconic Scandinavian shades like flesh green and magic blue, and the 5-cylinder engine was tuned to deliver boost quickly, with a soundtrack that made Audi drivers jealous. Today, it's a cult classic, rare, unique, and genuinely fun.
The SAAB 95 AERO.
You really thought Volvos were quirky? Meet the SAAB 95 AERO, the cult sleeper that looks like your grandma's sedan but punches way above its weight. It had a 2.3 turbocharged inline-4 engine, 250 to 260 horsepower, and 350 plus Nm of torque, 0 to 100 km per hour in approximately 6.5 seconds, front-wheel drive with torque steer and drama. SAAB engineers were doing weird stuff before it was cool. The 95 AERO had a huge performance dealer upgrade that bumped power and torque even more. You got a turbo spool, a ridiculously comfortable Recaro-style seat, and aircraft-inspired dash design, all in a car that looked like a librarian's daily. But the engine was the star. Robust, torquey, and extremely tunable. It came with a forged crank, a strong bottom end, and plenty of tuning headroom. With simply ECU tweaks, people were pushing 300 plus horsepower from this engine reliably. It was quirky, yes. The ignition was between the seats, the ergonomics were odd, and it loved to torque steer. But it was fast, fun, and definitely different. A true stealth bomber from Sweden.